And a masterclass in new ways of complaining from a woman who never backs down.
Everything about complaining, it's the principle. Whether it's 20p or thousands of pounds, it's the principle.
Now, you know, we Brits can be a funny old bunch. We love a good whinge about bad service or an out-and-out rip-off, but very often we find it hard to complain to someone face to face. But the tide is turning, and the rise of social media has provided a simple and very public way of not just airing a complaint, but taking it right to the door of the companies concerned. And that's provoked a change in the way those companies deal with us, as they have to be equally public in how they respond. In 2013, the British public made more than 38 million complaints. From mobile phone companies to energy providers, councils to railways, we were telling them you've got it wrong every 1.2 seconds.
When I think it's necessary, I do complain because I feel that they ought to know.
I'm paying for a service and I want that, so I'll ask for a better table if it's not right, because you shouldn't expect secondary.
And we seem to be overcoming our traditional British reserve too, with almost a third of people saying they're more likely to complain now than they were a year ago. Is that because doing it online can provide a simpler way of getting your point across?
I'm not that bothered about complaining, but I think I feel a bit uncomfortable doing it on the phone. Probably write an email maybe instead.
Helen Dewdney thinks it's our duty to tell companies when they've done something wrong, and she's been doing that herself since she was just 12.
To me, it's the principle of the thing. For everything about complaining, it's the principle. Whether it's 20p or thousands of pounds, it's the principle.
Helen calls herself the complaining cow, and for over 30 years she's been airing her dissatisfaction to companies who she thinks haven't got it right. She has contested and won 3 court cases, and in 2013 received over £2,500 in redress from 11 companies, as well as helping her friends and family recover over £1,800 from companies who'd let them down too.
Very rarely do it actually in person, unless it is something that needs to be dealt with there and then. I will go home, think about it. You need to do it quite quickly, so it's all fresh in your mind, and do the complaint in writing so that you've got a record of everything.
But for Helen, the point of complaining is not to get freebies or compensation.
I like to know what assurances I'm going to get that it won't happen again, and quite often they will come back and they'll say that we've put in place this training, or we've set that particular person on training, or we've now set up a new database, or whatever it is. It's nice to know that I've effected change.
For most of her complaining career, Helen's relied on detailed letters and then emails. But recently, like many others, she started expressing her disgruntlement through a channel that limits her to a very concise 140 characters, Twitter. The brevity of a tweet makes it an easy way to write a complaint, but the real reason it's taken off as a forum for airing a grievance is because it's so public. Anyone can see and respond to what you've said. So it's not surprising that a company whose name is mentioned might want to act quickly to show that they're dealing with it, especially if others start joining in the conversation.
I find it easy for complaining about small things. So if I've had an order and a delivery and my grapes are rotten or my eggs are broken, it's much easier to just tweet somebody and they can find my order number and I get a refund. But anything more complicated, I think, than that, it's very difficult in 140 characters. Somewhere along the line, you have to send an email or a letter.
Even so, more than a quarter of consumers who complained about a product or service in the last year are reckoned to have shared their gripe on social media. Paul Lewis, presenter of Radio 4's Moneybox, was one of them.
Twitter's helped me personally to file a complaint against an energy company, my energy company. They were very late in sending me a refund. I went through all the normal procedures and then I tried tweeting about it, and I had a response within a few hours. And it was really that, a few months ago, that made me think, well, maybe Twitter is the way to complain.
When Paul asked his Twitter followers to tell him if they've used the service to complain as well, he was inundated with success stories.
I've had messages from people with a gym, with a railway company, with a bank, or a building society, with a council who filled in the potholes, all these kind of things, that getting instant responses, whereas in the past they might have written letters or sent emails and waited weeks for a reply, or even worse, been stuck on the phone for an hour with no one talking to them. There are 15 million people in the UK who have a Twitter account, hundreds of millions around the world. So if you tweet about something going wrong, potentially everyone can see it. And it's because it can be such disastrous PR that companies are beginning to take it seriously.
Of course, companies can get it wrong on social media. One Twitter user from London complained that a delayed train had made him late for work. Transport for London sent a less than sympathetic response saying, "Leave early, you will not be late next time." Another man, Jim Boyden, posted on Facebook a bill including a late payment charge that Virgin Media had sent to his father-in-law, who died 10 months previously. Both stories went viral. Thousands either responded or posted and tweeted to their own followers, forcing both Virgin Media and TfL into embarrassing apologies. PR company Smoking Gun helps a number of brands and companies manage their reputation through social media.
If a situation arises on social media, it can have a direct impact on share price. Momentum can gather very quickly, and bad news can be spread globally in seconds. So brands have to be really mindful of managing their reputation online.
And are the companies conscious of the fact that once people start using social media, they have a sort of crowd effect?
Absolutely. The worst thing that can happen is to ignore complaints, or even worse, be rude to people and not try and help them. And all of a sudden, it can pick up momentum and be reshared.
Okay, so I'm a consumer, I've got a complaint, my holiday didn't work out the way I thought it would. I've decided I'm going to go on social media and vent my spleen and try to get justice. How do I go about doing that?
Probably your first step is to find which channels the holiday company is using itself, whether it be Facebook, whether it be Twitter, whether they've got their own blog that you can post a comment onto, and actually contact them that way. Don't start ranting, be fair with them, and you're likely to get a quicker and smoother resolution.
But don't forget, everything you say online is both public and subject to libel laws, so saying the wrong thing could land you in hot water.
Don't divulge sensitive information, personal information. Remember that information does stay online forever, potentially. No matter how frustrated you get, don't swear, don't be rude, just try and keep calm.
But whether you're complaining through social media or you prefer the old school method of putting pen to paper, seasoned complainer Helen has one simple rule.
It is an old cliche, people power. The more people that complain and complain effectively, in the right manner, then the more of us that do it, then that will bring about change.